allowing this awareness to become a part, and actually it really emerges from within us. This awareness is not something that we go out and grab or win. It's even if we go off and do a workshop somewhere on some kind of topic, it's not as if we are purchasing the awareness and now that I've done that I have it. It is something that's already innately there. And so it's about creating a more balanced experience of who we are in our totality. So in Western culture, we come from a very structured culture. So things are more closely timed, they're structured, there are definite ways of doing things. And so being a very structured culture in general, of course there are variations within the different facets of Western culture, of course. So there are differences between Latino culture, which is a Western culture, and Germanic cultures, which is also a Western culture, or developed nations. So let's maybe call that developed nations. Tend to be very third chakra orientated, very structured, very mental, very analytical. Well, that's just part of who we are. And that works well when it's in balance. It's very good. The tidy roads, trains run on time, products are always on the shelf, etc. But there's something that we miss from that. And what we can miss is the connection with the heart. What we can miss is a connection to that which is beyond the physical. Everything becomes scientific and analytical. One of the ways that I know is around getting into contact with our deeper longing. If you're watching this video, then clearly you have a longing for something greater, something deeper, for more meaning. And so for me, one of the ways in which I contact my longing is through singing, enjoying kirtan, chanting my mantras, and then devotion to my guru, Amma. But that can be anything. Devoted to the heart, devoted to God, devoted to some kind of service. And so that's really about the spiritual longing that we have. Each of us longs. We long deeply to be able to live from an unbridled, unfettered, unchained heart. We long to have the freedom to love and to be loved. And remember, we were taught how not to love. We were taught, no, not those people over there. No, that's inappropriate for you to love those people. No, if you look this way, if you behave this way, if you dress this way, then you're more lovable. And so we've taken on all of these straitjackets and prisons that keep our heart locked away. And then we're told, oh, well, you can't go into business if you've got an open heart. How are you going to make the hard decisions and the difficult decisions? And whilst at times it is entirely appropriate to be disconnected from your feelings when something needs to be done. For example, if you witness a road accident, you can't go into the grief of that in the moment. Someone needs to pick up the phone and call the ambulance and make sure that people are safe and organize and make sure that people are doing what needs to be done in that situation. Afterwards you can feel that, not in the moment. So there are times when it is appropriate not to be feeling these deeper feelings, because it gets in the way of doing what's absolutely necessary in an emergency. But we also get told that you can't do business if you have an open heart, because the heart is so sentimental. And so we have beliefs and contradictions around love and longing that abound in our culture. On the one hand, we have these impossible images of the perfect love that's going to give us everything that we need. Either the perfect woman or the perfect man, the perfect lover, the perfect husband, the perfect wife, the perfect partner, perfect boyfriend, perfect girlfriend, the perfect love that's arriving there with a dozen roses and something else. So we have all of these images. And so, and even within spiritual circles, now another spiritual goal is to find your soulmate who's going to solve everything. And so this one person has got to heal all of the wounds that we picked up from mummy and daddy and from school teachers and siblings. Well, no wonder when we find our soulmate, they don't hang around too long because we've asked them to do too much. They leave. And often that is just an image anyway that we've projected onto them. This is what we want from them. And so living this, bringing this awareness into day-to-day life is through being clear and honest about our deep longing to know ourselves as love and for the heart to know itself as love. Connecting to non-human life has always been a part of my life, but since the near-death experience, it's been a lot more aware than ever before. I don't have a problem sitting down on the doorstep having a conversation with a frog. I don't have a problem with stopping my motorbike and getting off and walking over to a tree and greet it. I have been blessed that most of my life I can see auras and chakras and energies, and so I'm aware of the consciousness of trees and animals, etc. And through my experiences in life have taught me that we can be connected to everything through the heart. And that's what we long for. That's where the oneness is found. The oneness is not a concept, it is an experience, and it's through the heart. I can remember, as clear as day, the very first time I became aware of a tree's curiosity about me. Now that was mind-blowing. I had been curious about the consciousness in trees. I had been aware of them. I had been aware of trees having, for want of a better word, different personalities or different aspects to them. A sense of being masculine or feminine. But I had never been aware of their curiosity about me. And so I became aware of a certain arrogance that was there too for me. Well, I'm the bigger consciousness here. I'm the more intelligent consciousness here. So why would it be interested in me? It doesn't have sufficient consciousness for that. So that was a wake-up call, to be aware of that we can interact with everything. And that's living from an awakened heart. That's truly living from an awakened heart. And so since that experience, and it's always been important to me, but it's become even more important to me now to be out in nature. But even within cities, we can have that experience. I remember driving with a friend in a car through the streets of Singapore and seeing these wonderful tree-lined avenues and just feeling the greeting of the trees as we drove past them. Being aware of everything. We live in this life where mostly we're walking down streets on our smartphones, not even looking at where we're going, and sitting in restaurants or not even communicating with the people that we're with because we're on our smartphones, which is now taking us on a further level away from even being aware of the trees that line our city streets. So at first we weren't aware of the nature that's alive within cities. Now we're not aware of other people. We've gone into this other world there. But there's another aspect to that, which is a whole different topic, is how all this communication technology is in a way a physical manifestation of what we're all doing anyway. Through the cords in our chakras, we're all connected to each other all the time. We're communicating on a subconscious level. We are communicating energetically with one another. So back to your question, how do we live this consciousness? It's around really getting in contact with our longing. And so many of us cannot, or have great fear or great pain around contacting our longing. Because immediately what comes in is the reminder of the deep disappointment of us not being met as children in our essence, and therefore we believe it can't be had. That if we go deeply into our longing, then we will only ever be met with disappointment over and over and over again. So that keeps many of us from even attempting or even entertaining the idea that we have a longing and then allowing ourselves to feel it, because the pain, and it's a very deep pain, really is the original wound of separation. The wound of separation is when we separated from our essence. That's what it is. And our essence is an extension of that which I spoke of, that vast awareness. That's what our essence is. I've said before that God is a disco ball, and so we are one of those little mirrors. So our essence is the finger of God that protrudes into this reality. And so that wound of separation is not only the wound of separation to who we truly are, but it's also the wound of separation to the divine, to God, Goddess, all that is. There's a double whammy there. Separated from ourselves and separated to that which sustains us on multiple levels of our being. And so we have great difficulty in embracing our longing, because as we embrace our longing, we bump into that almost inconsolable deep pain of separation. The separation of who we truly are, then separation from God, and we run into the fear of, in reality, we're all islands and we're truly alone, because we forgot that in fact we separated. And so how do we resolve this? Not by chasing an image of what we've been told is oneness, but by knowing that the heart can face it all, can bear it all, can feel it all, can do it all. And it's having the courage to do that. As I've said before, human beings will do virtually anything to avoid their pain, including the ridiculous and the dangerous. So when we face it all, then we find it all. And then we discover that everything we thought was over there is not there. Because when we get there, we discover that there's no there, but that it's here. And for some reason, it takes a very long time to take the shortest journey of all, to go into something that is as close as our own heart. Our heart doesn't get any closer. It's inside us. It is within us. It sustains us. It holds us. It is us. The heart is the truth of who we are. There's no other higher truth than that. The heart is the truth of who we are. Everything else pales in comparison. So that's how. And that's what I know about that's how right now. That changes, of course. It evolves. It evolves as I find a different way to be. Thank you.